Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Sincerely hope everybody is doing amazingly well today. Today we have an incredible reading for you to start off with. Well, first of all, welcome everyone. Whether you are brand new, this is the first time you have clicked onto a video, or whether you are returning or a brand new subscriber, welcome one and all. So we were clicking into, on this video, on this reading, we are clicking into, of course, the first new moon, which will be in Capricorn on January 2nd, 2022. Kicks off our new moon cycle and what to expect for 2022. Now, we have a lot of expansiveness here, can go in any direction. And this energy, of course, will be with us for the next 2 to 3 weeks, coming in, culminating into and moving into, of course, the beautiful full moon. So this is energy of new beginnings. This is starting off 2022 with a bang. So we will be checking in. So this is a new moon energy rundown for 2022. Again, for the new moon in Capricorn and what to expect. So we have pick a shooting star. So I chose these based on the shooting star theme. Now you can choose, of course, please feel free to choose your pile in any way that you want to. But this is a visual, a little extra of them for you. And of course, we also have our healing candle in the background to help us solidify and be in and around extra healing energy for this reading. So if you like a visual with your piles, then this is your visual for pile 1. This is your shooting star visual for pile 1. This is your shooting star visual for pile 2. And this is your shooting star visual for pile 3. Wonderful. So as always, these are general disclaimer. These are general readings. So within a reading, please take what resonates and leave what does not. Absolutely everything needs to resonate. But if it doesn't, you get something out of it. That's wonderful. Because of course, these are general readings. If nothing resonates in the first pile, feel free to pick another pile. Chances are, if you are here, for the most part, there should be a reading for you. The more aligned you are with your own intuition, your own energy, and grounded in to your own love of self, the more these are going to resonate. So let's get right into these readings. We're going to put aside pile 2 and pile 3 for now. So if you chose pile 1, again, this is a new moon energy rundown for January 2022, what to expect for this new moon coming up in Capricorn. So we're going to start off with your beautiful shooting star visual. And of course, this will give the energy of your reading. And it could be your mantra if you decide to use it. Then we have the oracle cards. We will be moving on to the tarot a little bit later on as we get you some more information. So let's turn this over and reveal. Drum roll. Beauty raises my vibration. I seek it out for healing and joy. Beauty raises my vibration. I seek it out for healing and joy. So this is the energy in and around your reading. You can use it as a mantra if you want to. I'm going to put it up there with our healing candle, and let's get into your oracle reading. So you've got the spirit of the north here. So you've got some earth energy coming in, connecting with the earth. And then you have the energy is gaining momentum. Wonderful. It's your second card there. And then you have nourishment and the number 7 at the top. Let's see. Pull these in. Make sure you can see that. And you've got all tied up. And the number 23. So the first thing that's coming up for you is the energy of breaking through something, breaking free, breaking through, should you want to. It's not that you've been going in different directions, you've been doing this all wrong, not at all. It's just that there's an easier energy, that's floating you upwards in a good way. You're still grounded, and there's an energy of grounding and rooting you to what you want in 2022. But there's an energy around this new moon in Capricorn for the beginning of 2022 that allows you to really ground in and hone in on that energy and move it forward to set the precedence for the rest of the year. Now, for a lot of you, so much happened in 2021. We can pretty much say that about everybody, right? But it wasn't necessarily evident to you. However, to other people, it was sort of more evident, but it wasn't necessarily evident to you. Now, you didn't set up necessarily to make these huge moves in 2021. You may have wanted to, but then your energy was slowed down a little bit and you were really pulled into where you were, and sort of not trapped in any way, although at certain times it may have felt that way. But you were, it was a time for you to stay put. It was a time for you to go within. It was a time for you to get very real about what it is that you wanted, and sort of sort through everything in a very sort of practical manner. And again, because there was so much work that was done, and you could feel that there was so much work that was done, you feel as though on the external, it should be more obvious that there was work being done. Now, again, on the external, people in and around you can see this huge difference in your life, the huge difference in the way that you're showing up, but you don't necessarily see that. Now, that's in and itself, that's totally fine. What happens for you in this new moon is that everything sort of catches up with itself, which is absolutely perfect, where you get to see this real expansiveness, and you get to really sort of ride this wave of this expansiveness and really, again, set the precedence for this new beginning in 2022. So the best way for you to be able to do that is to really hone in on what it is that you actually want and be very honest with yourself. We're going to give you a step-by-step way of doing this. Now, however you take this information, of course, is completely up to you. Always listen to your intuition, and don't let anybody tell you that there's only one way to do things. This is a suggestion. But this is really about what you were doing is you were moving things forward. I want to move my career forward. I want love. I want this, that, and the other. All of that is wonderful. And by the way, Pawan, that is all absolutely ready for you to go grab and go integrate into your life in 2022. But the way in which you're going to go about it, if you want to, is a little bit more expansive. So to be really clear about what it is that you truly want, you can choose 3 things or more things if you want. So we're going to go with beauty. Beauty, love, and connection keep coming up for you, these 3 words. These are the things that you maybe are looking for. Now, if you want to tweak with this and go off in a different direction, choose 3 other ones, of course, do that. But these are the ones that are coming up for you. Beauty, love, and connection are the 3 things that are coming up at your core for 2022. So these are your themes. These are the things that you want to, the energy that you want to incorporate at a soul level and at a physical level, an auric level, all levels all the way through, right? Systematically all the way through. So once you've decided on that, then you can say to the universe, how do I do this? How do we incorporate this energy in every aspect of my life? And then watch your life change. Watch more beauty and connection come into what it is that you do for a living. Your love connections, your soul family connections, just life in general. Instead of going for this path of being very practical, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, but it just didn't yield the results for you in 2021 that you wanted. But you needed to be able to do that in order to get to this stage. So it's all absolutely perfect. So instead of focusing on career, for instance, go deeper and focus on the beauty. Focus on the connection. And again, come up with these themes for you. It'll make it easier and work with the universe. And then it requires this certain amount of action and faith, knowing that this will be delivered for you and to you in sort of magical ways, because it's very expansive. You're not really going to be able to tell how this energy comes in. But what it is, it takes the energy off. It takes sort of the pressure off you moving forward and sort of being very tactical about how you move forward. I'm doing this. If I do this, it'll yield this results and this, that, and the other. Now, in the past, this practical method has absolutely worked for you and it's been wonderful. But these efforts aren't yielding the results. And it started at the latter part, definitely, of 2021. And for some of you, it's been quite frustrating. Although we want to remind you, everybody else on the external can see how much you've grown. Everybody else can see that what the effort that you've been putting in has been coming back. But considering the effort that you've been putting in, it's not been yielding the same kind of results. See, there's an aspect of your soul that's insanely magical and is ready for this really expansive understanding of what can happen and ready for these really brand new, huge beginnings. But because you are sort of limiting yourself by saying, I'm going to go in this practical direction, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z and expect these yielding and expect these very specific kind of results, what you've been doing is that you've been tying yourself up. You've been sort of shutting the universe down just a little bit. Now, there's a reason for that, There was a timing aspect for this too, because there was just a few things that you needed to get back into place for you to get back into this expansiveness mode, because when the universe delivers, it really does. And there were just some really sort of practical things, some health things, some other things that you wanted to get under your belt. There's other things that you wanted to work with and deal with. And the way in which you were working was very much in line with what it is that you needed to sort out and sort through at that time. Now you're at that point of moving forward. So even if you were at that expansive rate at the end of 2021, if things had taken off the way that you really anticipated and wanted, you could have felt a little overwhelmed. Now, you are the type of person that gets through everything anyway, because you are incredible in that way. I mean, it's almost like you can take on a typhoon, or all of these going into these crazy sort of situations and sort of calming them down. So you're well able for it. You're absolutely capable of it. But this in 2022 is about doing less and gaining more. It's not about putting yourself in the eye of the storm anymore and then transmuting all of this energy. It's about putting your energy first, putting in the effort, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, but making things a lot easier for you. Now, we're just going to give you a little bit of real talk. You've often made things a little bit harder for yourself, Pile 1. You've often done things sort of the hard way. And other people may have told you this your entire life, one way or another. And part of you did that as because you knew that you could. No matter what, you always land on your feet. And, you're incredible in that way. You can even do this for other people. You're sort of used to working in storms, and sometimes you've the energy of your flight and flight really loves to go into sorting things out and feeling overwhelmed and getting through it. There's a part of you that loves that, and there's a part of you that doesn't. But there's a part of you that thrives in that because you're very good at it. But there's a shift in energy for the beginning of 2022 where you're scaling it back and you're doing a 180, and you're saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this to my psyche anymore. I want to go for exactly what it is that I want. I want to be clear about what it is that I want. I want to know that I'm connected to what it is that I want. And again, that's beauty, connection, and love for you. Again, choose whatever ones that's come out or really speak to you, these themes that come out. And of course, it can be more than 3, it can be 1, whatever you want to do. But go for gold. Go for what it is that you really want instead of the specifics of how that's going to be. I want this new job. I want that. The universe already knows that. So once you claim the energy and the vibration of the beauty and the love and the connection, again, we're using that as an example for you here, then you really click into the nourishment of who you are and knowing that you're going to do this in the easiest way possible. That doesn't mean that you're lazy or any way, shape, or form. If anything, you've been spinning your wheels for so long, sort of overworking situations, that we want you to have an easier time. Some of you don't even, when something comes in and it's too easy, you almost don't trust it. Because you're used to working in these sort of extra dramatic situations. You may have even brought in dramatic people in and around you before because you're very good at calming down these situations. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful side to your personality. And we're certainly not saying, chuck it out, nothing like that. We're saying, take it to the next level, integrate it in a way that it works for you, where your energy level is so much more in the higher vibration in 2022. Make this energy work for you instead of you working for this energy. Because there's an energy at the latter part of 2021 where you always feel like you're like one step behind everyone else. In actual fact, you're not. You really weren't. But you felt that way. And if you felt that way, then that's true for you. And we're honoring that truth. So there's a way for you not to feel that way in 2022. So Capricorn is a very practical sign with this new moon. This is a chance for you to do things differently, shift up your energy and go really deep. And again, this connection to self, this connection to nourishment, this connection to putting your energy first is not selfish. It will ensure that every part and every aspect of your life shifts and changes because you're working with the universe and you're leveling up. Yeah, and you're saying to the universe, all right, I'm ready for more beauty. I'm ready for more connection. I'm ready for more love. And I'm ready for you to give me the highest version of that in all areas of my life. Let's go, universe. Let's do this, right? So let's get you some more information. This is a beautiful place for you to be at. It's almost a place for you to be in this surrender mode. And there's a humbleness to your energy that's coming in that's absolutely beautiful, pile one. And it's, for some of you, it may feel like, oh, I'm giving up. There may be this energy where I've done this for so long, I can't do this anymore, and I feel like I'm giving up. So for those of you who are feeling like you're in a little bit of a dark moment, because this is a general reading and you're all feeling a little bit differently, then embrace that. It's just you saying, I'm done with the way that I was doing things before. I'm going to do this differently. That's fine. You will come out of that darkness, but embrace it. That's where you are. And you're owed that energy. You're owed that, I'm exhausted, I don't want to do this anymore in this way. It just means, it's just showing you in your energy that You've done everything that you can doing things a certain way, but now you are ready to do things in a more expansive way, and working with the universe in a way that you're absolutely ready to work with the universe before. Now, there was an element of you before that was absolutely ready, great for transmuting old energy, again, dramatic energy moving through. But there was a part of you that still needed that energy. For some of you, it's sort of a life link. For some of you, you felt alive when you were in and around that energy, but you've not felt that way in a really long time. So it's just a matter of sort of shifting the old mindset and moving into a new mindset. And there was also this energy of not fighting, but this energy of sort of always transmuting old energy. So if something came up that didn't agree with you, you felt like you needed to fight it. And that's not because you didn't want anybody to have a different opinion to you or anything like that. It's just that you were used to being able to transmute, or used to transmuting energy that wasn't connected to universal truth constantly. You're sort of the truth seeker, and that's exhausting. At some point, it's, you can lay down the sword and say, you do you, I do me. I'm going to put my energy forward. This is how I'm going to do things. So this is where you're at, your energy level. So you've got the devil here. Again, you have the devil here for the connection of the north, really getting grounded again with yourself and not moving back into this old energy of, again, the dramatic needing to make everything okay. For some of you, it's like, wanted to save the earth, wanted to save people. That's totally fine, and it's very noble. But understanding that you're actually not here to save people, but you are here to click into the energy of truth. You are here to bring light in your own way. And you're here to honor the light in your own way. And this is that it's a very subtle shift in a way, but it's a shift that's actually going to change everything and bring everything sort of to a head and an expansiveness. So for those of you who are feeling like you're running out of this energy, and again, you're in this sort of slightly dark pattern of not feeling as though everything isn't working, I'm not connected to the earth. That's the other thing, because you're working with the earth and the energy of your environment and the universe differently. You don't feel connected in the same way because you're not working with the same energy, but you have the chance to connect in a new way, and it's just a shift of perception. That's all it is, to get back to you. And this is a brand new way of being. So of course it's going to feel a little overwhelming. It's going to feel a little different for each and every one of you. Now there might be a slight grieving period as you go from one to the other, because for some of you, this is all the energy that you've known. But it's too much of the energy that you've known. It's taking on everybody else's problems, taking on everything to transmute it. This is, you got to, again, the image of you leaving the sword, letting it all go and putting your energy first. And again, stepping up with the very root of what it is that you want and allowing the universe to really deliver it in really magical and beautiful ways. So, I mean, if we can give you any advice, we would even say, don't be specific about how you want to show up in the world. I have an idea of what I want to do for a living. I have an idea. I have this project. All of that is wonderful. Keep that in mind. But say to the universe, I want beauty. I want connection. I want love. I have an idea of what it is that I want to do to be able to work with that in the world. But if I'm connected, I am connected to my higher self. If there's something better out there for me, show it. Show it to me. And let me get on that timeline as soon as possible. So a lot of you have asked for new jobs. A lot of you have asked for new connections, and all of that is wonderful. But even the energy of what you've asked for, it's so much more expansive than that. So gaining new momentum. Yeah, you've got the King of Pentacles here with this action, moving forward with this action, being able to use your divine masculine sort of in a new way, of not sort of pushing you forward in the way that you have done before, sort of this humdrum, I'm doing this, I did it before, because you're very good at pushing through obstacles. You're very good at getting your own way in a way. You're very good at that because you've got this really strong energy, and once you've decided you want something, you're going to get it. The problem is that the things that you've wanted is not always on your best timeline, not always for your higher self. And that's totally fine too, because there's lots of things for you to learn and figure out. But you've made a decision, or your energy, your soul has made a decision that you want to be fast tracked in 2022. And this is your time to be able to do that. So again, lay down the old ways of doing things and move into a new way. Yeah, you've got the Magician here for nourishment, and you've got the Ten of Pentacles. You have this new way of moving in. And again, we want to be really clear about the Devil card and the Ego card. These are beautiful cards to show you where you were before. And all of that energy can be integrated and really and has made you who you are. So it's not like you did things wrong before, not at all. It's just that you overworked yourself, you overworked your energy. So this is about you sort of retiring that way of doing things and really working with your magic. It's a way to assess where your energy is at too. Now you can work with the universe in really small magical ways and see what you can bring in with manifestation also, because you're excellent visualizers coming in. And what it is that you want, a lot of you are asking for more. Some of you are asking for fame and fortune. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to get it. And also for increase in finances. This is something that's heavily weighing on a lot of you for 2022. But you want to do it the way in which you want to do it. You want to earn your money, as we say in Reiki, honestly, right? And that just means doing what it is that you want to do. And again, the best way to be able to do that, to sidetrack all of this other ways to get to there from A to B as quickly as possible, is to say, what I want to do for a living is to bring hope, to bring beauty, to bring healing, to be really specific. If you need to write it down, even write a paragraph, a manifesto of what it is that you feel as though you're here to do. This is something that you can do. Now, this is a theme that's been coming up. So this is something that you are absolutely ready to do now and to move forward in this energy of 2022. So again, putting your energy first. If anything that comes up, for some of you, there's a little bit of grieving energy that comes up. But for some of you, there's this underlying of excitement, a little bit of fear too, because you're going into the unknown. We're not going to pretend that this is brand new. You can't go back and kind of figure out, you can't compare it to anything else. It's absolutely brand new. There's new heights of healing available to you, new heights of love available to you. So use this energy of the new moon coming in to embrace this new way of moving forward, have trust and faith in working with the universe. And again, be very clear about the soul aspects of what it is that you're looking to get. And then the rest of it, like the fame and fortune, if you want to call it that, or increased money, that will be as a byproduct. That will be secondary that comes in. Ask for this and really hone in on that. And again, stay away from, it's not drama exactly, but stay away from the energy of that feels a little heavier. Stay away from anything that pulls your energy out of of the expansiveness, and it will happen for you immediately. In the past, you'll be around because you take in so much energy. You're like a sponge. You'll be around people and you won't realize how much this energy really affects you. When you come home, you're like, why am I feeling this way? And it used to happen to me. I visited a friend once and I literally couldn't get out of bed for like 3 days, and I thought there was something going crazy with me. This happened several years ago, and I realized every time I went over to their house that something happened. It's just I took on that energy, and it was craziness. And this is something that you've been in and around, but now that you realize this, your energy shifts immediately. It absolutely shifts immediately. So when something isn't in alignment with your energy, you can feel it. So just back off. In the past, you'll be like, no, I'll transmute it. I'll do this. And, you don't need to do that anymore. You're being asked to step up and really nourish your soul and do that. Now, this is a way for you to move forward, using your magic in sort of this brand new way, integrating your magic into everything that you do and getting these incredible results. And again, you know, the results that came for you or that were in and around you in 2021, they were actually huge. You got a lot of results. You did move forward. People on the external see it more than you do. But this is a way for you to level up. You really are ready to go further and brighter and better. And so working with this new moon energy at the beginning of 2022 sets the precedence for that. Be clear about how you're going to use your energy. Be clear about what it is that you want to do, and then release into the universe. But also playing this active role of knowing this is what you want and standing your ground too. You know, if the universe or something steps up and it's not quite what you want, I'm going to go for something bigger. Thank you for that. You know, you don't have to settle. This is not a year for settling for 2022 for you. So this is a way that you can work with this beautiful new moon coming up. We are sending you so much love for exactly who you are and where you are in the world. And of course, if you have not checked out, I'm going to leave it down below, the other Which Doorway Brings You Great Success in 2022. I'm going to link that reading below. If you have not checked that out yet, that could be an excellent reading for you to go to right after this and see if you can get some extra information. So if you have not subscribed, we would love to have you here at Unicorn Light Tarot. We have so many great things going on for the beginning of 2022. New courses coming up, new website, exciting new things. So you'll want to join us if you haven't already. And of course, hit that like button and that bell icon so you never miss a video. So we are sending you all the love we have in our hearts today for all of this energy in and around you for this new moon coming in. You've got it. You're going to rock it. Go be you. Until we meet again, Pile 1. Bye-bye. Hello, you beautiful Pile 2s. If this is your shooting star visual, then this is your reading. And again, we are doing new moon energy rundowns for January 2022, the new moon in Capricorn, what to expect. So we are going to start off with your visual here. Now, this is the theme to your reading, and it can be your mantra too, however you want to choose, however you want to work with this energy. Then we have your oracle cards, and we will be moving on to tarot for some extra information. So we have, I'm connected to the earth and all life around me. So we're going to put this with your healing candle here. I'm connected to the earth and all life around me. So this is the energy for your reading. And of course, it can be your mantra too, to move you into 2022. You and your loved ones are safe is your first card. Balance. Beautiful. Oh, sight of owl, gorgeousness and action. So this is an interesting reading, Pile 2. There's some ancestor energy coming up too. So you and your loved ones are safe. So some of you have been feeling as though making sure, you know, just this energy of making sure that everybody's safe. And that really comes from the energy of your ancestors. There's been a lot of healing recently, and it's sort of ricocheted all the way back. So there's a energy, they're in and around you too, and they're bringing you wisdom. Some of you are even having some incredible dreams, which can come in around the new moon. We can come in, strange dreams or prophetic dreams can come in at any time, but especially around this new moon coming in Capricorn also. Sort of old family members that have passed on, messages coming up for you, but they're in and around your energy. So this energy may be sort of being mirrored back to you in your practical sort of everyday life, where you're like just making sure everybody's okay, or having these real moments of just being grateful for the energy that you have in and around you, being grateful for your family. For some of you, there's coming back into the family fold in 2022. This is an opening for you for this new moon. For some of you, you felt as though not exactly the black sheep of the family, but you went off and did your own thing. Coming back into the family a little bit, coming back into some old friends can be coming up too. These are all healthy relationships that are coming up, but sort of a new profound way to sort of connect on a day-to-day level with people that are in and around you. And also for the first time, sort of feeling as though you're sort of the black sheep of the family. For some of you, it didn't feel as though you were necessarily sort of outside the family, it's just that you felt a little bit different. And some of you may have moved yourself outside of the family. You did this yourself. And you've come back into a sense of balance. So now it's going to be really interesting because the people that you sort of moved away from, and again, it's not that a lot of these situations that you were pushed out, it's that you felt compelled to leave yourself. You didn't really see yourself in sort of in family members, and you needed to go off and do your own thing. You've always been a fierce adventurer. You also like to do your healing and do whatever you need to do sort of away from the public eye, away from those around you. You want to be able to do things on your own terms, and you felt a little bit trapped, like you wouldn't necessarily be able to do things on your own terms if you stayed within the family unit at that time. But what's really interesting about the year 2022 is that a lot of people might be coming in and around you because of your gifts, because of the things that actually sort of separated you from your family before, that made you feel a little bit different. They're actually going to be seeking you out for these gifts. So there's a new level of sort of attunement. There's a new level of integration of bringing back family members. And these are family members that are still living. Now, there's also this deep healing that's available to you, Pal 2, should you choose to take it. Now, we want to be very clear about this. We're on your side here. Whatever it is that happened to you with family members, this is not a channel where it's all love and light. We're all about darkness and doing all the work, and everything's going to be okay. You need to put yourself first. If these people were in and around you and you feel as though the forgiveness isn't there on your side, there's many different ways to heal. You need to look after your own energy. But if it's there for you, if you want to, there's an energy, there's sort of a doorway, a portal, if you like, of deep healing from the past, from family core wounds that are coming up for you now. For most of you, it will be maternal and paternal. So it's pretty close. Could be older brother and sister too. Now, for most of you, some of these people have passed on. But there's an energy of just this profound healing, and it goes to the core and it shifts your energy. It ricochets back into your ancestral sort of bloodline, and it also ricochets back into your life and your past lives, and how it influences you and how you move forward with your energy, and how you approach this new freedom that's available to you now in 2022. And this freedom that's available to you is very much emotional freedom, being freed up in many different directions, but specifically, again, healing from ancestors and healing some of those core wounds. Now, this is something that you've been working on. You've been balancing as you've been healing yourself. You've been automatically healing your past wounds there. So none of this is a huge surprise for any of you. But what you've been missing and what you're going to be gaining, should you want to, and it will start, it's sort of culminate, and then it's been culminating for the last 2021 at the end, but it's really gaining momentum, and it has the chance to sort of break through, especially in this new moon, of this new way of connecting. A lot of you have not really felt as connected to your own lives or connected to the universe, and some of you are even wondering why the hell you're here. You have insane magic, and you can put that into action and shift the worlds in many different ways. But here's why it's been quite difficult for you. As people ascend and as people sort of come into their own version of spirituality, it's very common to feel disengaged with the earth and not feel connected and not really know what to do with that. That's perfectly normal. But what people don't really acknowledge is that, when you ascend, trauma comes up, and the essence of the ego comes up, and not everybody deals with that. They just focus on the ascension part of it, right? And then, they sort of go off in different directions, and they're ruled by trauma. They're ruled by their ego, and they don't take the time to actually sift through it and heal what needs to be done. Now, you've done all of that, and that's everybody needs to do, and there's different ways to heal from trauma. Going with it is one way of doing it, right? Going with the ego is one way of doing it. There's different paths. But for you, you realized all of these aspects. So when all of this, as you started to ascend and your vibration sort of shifted, you started working with the ego. You started working with all those sort of darker elements of yourself, and also with the trauma that's been coming up too. And you realize that there's so much magic and there's so much healing in that trauma. And this is something that you've magnified and something that you've really integrated into your soul. Now, we can tell you it's not that common to be able to do it this way. This is, you know, we talk about 5D and this, that, and the other, but this is true sort of real ascension, moving into sort of a higher level where you're really not connected with a lot of people who are ascending. And again, this is not about looking down on anyone or this. Everybody's at their own path of ascending. Some people are ascending with the collective, which is, you know, major trauma, major ego, this, that, and the other. But you did this differently. So there's been a disconnect for you, and it's been quite painful. And this is a way for you to really connect back into your world, connect back into your magic, connect back into your life, because you didn't necessarily see the connection in spirituality. You didn't necessarily see the connection that other people did when they were ascending. You didn't really see other people doing what you were doing. You were really kind of on the outskirts of this going, am I crazy? The answer is no, but you ascended slightly differently. It means that your power it's not greater, it's very pronounced at this point. It also means that you're not the sort of person, and you will know this from your own soul, you're not the person that's ever followed a crowd by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, if there was a crowd going that way, just to spite them, you would go the other way anyway. You do things on your own. Even if, you know, you fuck up, you do this, you know, they're your mistakes. You'll claim them, you'll do them yourself, but you're not going to follow the crowd. In fact, following the crowd makes you nervous because you're like, everybody's doing the same thing. That doesn't feel right to me. So you're kind of a trailblazer in that way. And in the past, you know, the connection has suffered a little bit, but in the last 2 years, it's really been predominantly, it's sort of weighing heavy on you because, you know, you were at a place that you weren't before, and you didn't see really that many people who were in and around you doing things quite the way that you did. So you were looking for balance on the external, which in a way you've been able to find, but you haven't been able to find in the last 2 years. So this has been a painful, beautiful, excruciating, glorious sort of 2 years for you. Many ups and downs, many differential sort of different types of healings. You've literally seen it all. It's almost like you've had 3 lifetimes in the last 2 years. Most people have had 2 lifetimes in the last 2 years. And again, we want to be clear. Everybody is free will zone on earth. Everybody gets to choose how they want to ascend and work through whatever. There's no right or wrong. There's no looking down, and there's certainly no I'm leveling up, I'm better than you are, I'm higher than you are. No, absolutely not. But there is a way of acknowledging that you've done things differently and you are on a different vibration. This is the chance for you in the Capricorn new moon for you to really connect in a brand new way. And this is a long time overdue for you, pal, too. This is a way for you to sort of bring your energy home. And again, you're doing this your own way. You're not following the crowd, but you're honoring your energy. You're honoring your energy and you're saying, I have done things differently. I am doing things differently. And the truth that I have in and around of what I'm saying, not everybody gets at the same time. It's almost like people come to it when they're ready. You know, the sort of truth that you have, the sort of truth that's out there right now is true. And we need it. We need to move through it. But it's more sort of like old world truth. But you have universal truth. You have sort of new truth coming in. Not everybody's ready to see that right now. So, and that's perfectly fine. But that is also acknowledging from your standpoint quite lonely, right? So this is a way for you to 2022 is shifting, the energy is shifting, and the way in people are ascending and moving through energy is shifting. It's almost like everything's accelerated. So first of all, the truth that you have is definitely going to be seen and be integrated, which makes you feel a little less lonely. So that's on a very practical, physical level, but also on a level of you moving forward, saying, I am doing this, I'm claiming my truth, I'm doing it. And there's no inhumanity in there. There's no There's no ego in there. There's no like, I've got it, you haven't. There's nothing like that. It's just standing in your own energy, and really gloriously just saying, this is who I am. This is what I own. And I'm not dumbing myself down anymore. There's an energy that brings in this new energy of balance that you've never quite tried. You've tried to do it, and that the earth and the universe has been trying to sort of balance things out. But it was a divine timing aspect of the way in which you ascended. You see, you were already, you came in as an ascended soul, whereas people came in and woke up and ascended. You were already ascended to a certain degree. So when you ascended, you sort of ascended in a different way that everybody else did. Everybody else woke up. You were already awake. You ascended. So it's, when you first wake up, you're sleepy. You're figuring things out. You're still working in the old modes a little bit, but things are different. You're not going to allow things to be the same again. It's beautiful energy. It's proactive energy. But you weren't there. So you weren't that. You didn't need. You've done that already. You were already sort of ahead of the curve a little bit. Sorry. Getting excited and shaking the mic here. So let's get you some more interesting. So again, this is about you really claiming your energy and really claiming your beautiful magic that you have, and also your incredible seers. The way in which you see the energy and the wisdom that you have to be integrated into the earth is exactly what we need right now. And it does separate you because it is a little bit different to what people are being told in the collective. It is a little bit different. And not that everybody's being told the wrong stuff. It's just they're being told whatever it is that they're ready to take in at the time. But you've succumbed, you've moved through that. So this is about working with your ancestors. This is about working with their energy. This is about working with their magic. This is ancient magic that's coming back to you. This is you being in a leadership position in 2022. But let's be clear, you're not taking on any labels, and it's not really leadership. All you're doing is you're guiding people. So it's very much this visual of you holding hands and walking in unison with other people. It's not other people might see it as a leadership role, but it really isn't. And that's not how you're approaching it. To be honest with you, the world doesn't need more leaders. The world really needs more people to step up in their own energy and just allow everybody to be who they are, right? It doesn't need more people stepping up and saying, this is how it is. There's only one way to do it, and let's all do it this way. We don't need any of that energy anymore. It's really about everybody stepping in and really seeing how glorious each and every one of us is, and celebrating all of that and building communities together based on that. No one person more than the other. No more gurus, no more any of that stuff, no more. So even if you step into a leadership role, it really will be, again, walking next to someone, showing up, holding space for that person. You're able to show people who they really are in this exquisite form. And once they see it, they can never undo it. They can never unknow what it is that they are. And you're ready to show that. That's your magic in this lifetime. People are able to see how glorious they are and how beautiful they are through your eyes. Once they know that, you can pull them out of all sorts of different things, because it shifts in the soul. It shifts their soul. And it begins this integrated, very, very deep level of healing. So this is not a leadership thing that we're talking about, quite the opposite. So you've got the Six of Wands. Again, this is about you stepping into this new role, or this more identifiable role, this more specific role. It's not new. In many ways, you've been doing this your entire life, and in past lives too. Without sort of payment, or without really the sort of the dues that you were owed, really. Not that you were waiting for people to congratulate you for what you were doing, but not everybody saw the beauty of what you were doing or what you were capable of doing. So this is you. So this is not new for you. This is you stepping into this much more defined role, which is the energy of in and around you in 2022. But definitely, it's sort of really heightens around the new moon. And it's about you stepping into this role, and the way in which you do this is that you say to the universe, and you can even demand it in your own way, I'm ready for new connection. I'm ready to connect into the world. Now, we talked about this in pile 1. Instead of going for the specifics, I want this new job, I want, go really deep in the core and be honest about what it is that you want. For you, connection is key. For you, connection is to be integrated and to really understand why it is that you're here, to really feel it, to be integrated into your own soul, to be integrated into your bloodline in a really healthy new way, to be integrated into your profound magic and wisdom, and to be able to bring that in to this lifetime in your own quirky, beautiful way. Because again, you do things on your own terms, and we would never tell you how to do them. And that's the beautiful thing about you too. So you have this element of this community building, and this is what this connection is. But it's to build communities, brand new aspects of communities. It's not based on what we have already. This is going way, way back. This is going to the root of everything, again, of seeing people and their beauty, seeing who they are, honoring who they are in this beauty, without the labels of addict or this, that, and the other. Just really getting to the crux of who people are and letting their soul shine, and this deep level of healing that you're coming into. Now, you're going to be doing this, you're already stepping into this deep level of healing and really concentrating a lot on a personal level. That's really going to be on the outskirts too, and really projecting that energy out into sort of the cosmos at the beginning for this new moon coming in 2022, and really holding space for that healing for the world. Again, this new way of healing these core wounds of trauma. This is trauma coming up, healing the core wounds of trauma. And of course, we see a lot of people still acting out of the core wounds of trauma that we have not healed on a personal level or a collective level yet. But you're here to be able to transcend that. This is something that you're doing on an individual basis, but bringing this into a community level. You're still working on an individual basis, but bringing that with the mind of a community, which brings you this incredible level of connectedness. And again, the way in which you work, the world to a degree hasn't quite seen yet. Now, you have this beautiful energy of working with sort of medicine, working with herbs, with, this real balance. What we're seeing in the world is these two sides. I don't trust science. I only trust herbs. And what we need is something sort of this middle, where we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? Where, the way in which we're working with science is wonderful, but the way in which we've been working with drugs, for instance, letting it without getting to the core issues of things, is not the way that we want to move on. And it's wonderful to be able to get back to using herbs and going natural and all of that, but sometimes we need that science. So coming in and melding all of these different aspects together, a new way of working with psychotherapy, for instance, a new way of working with energy. But again, for some of you, and a lot of you, maybe it might be working with the energy of trauma, also being in touch with it, how, getting the energy out, writing it down, really holding space for people's stories, right? This is the energy of moving into in 2022, and it's a profound energy, and we really need that energy. And it's, the King of Swords you have here with the owl, and then you have the High Priestess, absolutely gorgeous, bringing your element of truth, bringing your element of beauty, bringing your element of magic to this energy of 2000, this new moon of 2022, and at the same time this incredible connection that you get. You've always known an aspect of why you're here, and it's shifted and changed because the universe and the energy that you have has relied on you in different ways. You've transmuted energy, you've held the light, you've done this, you've done that. It's almost like, somebody doesn't show up to work, one light workers doesn't show up to work, you're there. You'll hold the space, but this is about you really defining, and finite, this sort of finite energy of how you're going to do it with community aspects. And again, working from the root and being able to hold energy there. If we don't heal from the root, we're going to be making the same mistakes, or we're just going to be having the same energy over and over again. And to some degree, that's what we're seeing in the world. But again, it's not really the same energy time and time again, because there's different energy behind it. But the same action time and time again. You're here to come in with completely different energy, completely different action, completely different magic. But at the same time, you're not afraid to get into that nitty gritty, that darkness, because you've done this on a personal level. Get into that sort of not just shadow work, but make friends with the ego, you know, with the darkness. But at the same time, really not making sure that everybody stays in the darkness. This is about honoring the darkness, working with the darkness in a completely different way. And really tuning in all it is, all of your beautiful attributes that you have in this lifetime, to be an extremely powerful mentor in this lifetime. And again, not in a leader sense, but in a holding space for sense. So there's an action moving forward for you to solidify this in the world, and to be able to do this on the basis of incredible accuracy and incredible success in different levels. But again, the main success that you're working for is to be fully integrated back into the world, but on your own terms, completely doing things your own ways, not dumbing yourself down, not saying I'm going to, you know, all right, the world isn't ready for me, so I'm just going to do this until that. None of that. Really stepping up in this new way, which again is on a basis of what you already know. So this is an incredible time for you. For some of you, it's, you know, a little frustrating time because you're like, you don't really, you know, everything's changed, but you know, you can't compare it to the old. That's a theme that we're seeing right now. And some of the old ways aren't working for you, but just click right back into that connection and work with that connection and really allow in that beautiful, masterful energy of your bloodline. There's been so much healing of your bloodline. They're stepping up and they're really helping you in this way. So allow in that energy. You can even do some kind of ritual if you want to. With your energy, and again, this deep focus of profound healing if you are ready, and again, always on your own terms. How you want to do this profound healing at the core level that really brings up more energy and more solidification of just this help in and around that you have with your ancestors coming up. And of course your guides are still there, and the universe, without a shadow of a doubt. So this is a very powerful new moon for you coming in, Pal 2, on a very personal, individual level. And this is something that you've been working towards a hell of a long time, one way or another. So the timing is right, and you're going to feel this. So in any way that you move forward is the right way for you, and each and every one of you will have your own way. But this is a time to celebrate. This is a time to trust yourself and trust your instincts and trust where you're being led. You cannot go wrong at this time. So that's what we have for you, Pal 2. We're sending you so much love and support for exactly who you are and where you are in the world. And of course, if you have not checked out already, I'm going to list it down below. We have which doorway brings you great success in 2022. So if you have not checked out that already, again, we'll leave it down below. That could give you a little bit more energy and a little bit more information if you haven't checked it out. And of course, if you have not subscribed, we would love to have you. We have so many good things coming up in the beginning of January. New courses, new ways to work within this energy. So many things coming up in the next week. So we would love to have you here. So feel free to subscribe if you have not already. And of course, hit that beautiful bell icon so you never miss a reading twice a week. And we have the Unicorn, Unicorn School of Light, of course, that's coming up with new courses. And we also have the podcast coming back in on 2022 too. So many things going on. And don't forget to give us a like if you liked this beautiful reading too. So we are sending you off into 2022 with a beautiful, beautiful way to be. Go be you as only you can be, and we will see you again. Take care, Pal 2. Okay, Pal 3, if you chose this visual for your shooting star, this is your reading, and of course we still have the healing candle. So as a reminder, we are doing new moon energy rundowns in 2022, which will be obviously January, our first new moon kicking off, and that is in the sign of Capricorn. What to expect. So we're going to start off with this beautiful card here, and it will be the energy of your reading or the mantra if you decide. Then we have your oracle cards. We'll be moving on to tarot for extra energy later on. So let's start. I have power. It is real. Beautiful. You have that full moon there. So let's put that up there and get right into your cards. Balance, spirituality, and practicality is your first card here. You have purity here. You have offerings. That's interesting that it was reversed, but we'll put it up here. And you have 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel. All right, so let's see. So this is about pile 3. This is really about, and it keeps saying taking no prisoners, right? This is your new moon about putting your energy out there. Again, very different energy from pile 1 and pile 2, but this is about you. There's been sort of an unsurety in and around your voice about how you put yourself out there, because, you know, whatever it is that you're saying might sort of be a little bit different. And again, you have this you do have this in common with pile 2, but it's very, very different energy. The way in which you approach life is a little bit different. And other people have been very clear to point that out to you in the past. So you're very cognizant of this. And, you know, this is an energy of you to really honor your offering, what you give the world, who you are in the world. This is not as clear cut as, you know, you have low self-esteem or anything like that. I mean, for anyone who was sort of looking at this and trying to make sense of what's going on with your energy, it would be very easy to say, oh yeah, you know, low self-esteem, this, that, and the other. But it doesn't really get to the crux of the truth. It really doesn't really incorporate what it is that you've been going through, you know, to a degree, your entire life. It's an energy of, first of all, wanting to be grounded into the earth. There's a part of you that's like, I don't really know what's going on. There's a part of you that's just, I don't like the word pure because it's been corrupted, which is kind of ironic, but it's been corrupted in many different ways. But just for clarity's sake, we're going to use it here. There's a purity and there's an innocence to you that's really beautiful. Now, part of you's hidden that. For some of you, you've hidden it really well. And for some of you, you haven't hidden it that well, and it's quite obvious. But there's still a part of you that you keep it for yourself. And it's this innocence of really being very affected when darkness is in and around and something happens, and this collective energy of the cruelty that, you know, humans do. This is a free will zone. People can do what they want. Yeah, I mean, of course, there's karma, individual karma, and that works out in a very specific way that we are not in control of. People try to take it under their own advisement and push the karma. This happened to me, I'm going to do it to somebody else. And you have every right to do whatever you want to do, but that's not how karma works per se. But it's just seeing how everything lays out. And there is a lot of cruelty in the world. It's been very damaging to you one way or another. It's been really hard on your soul. Now, some of you have really sort of tried to hide that part of you, and you've got this real sort of stoic presence, and it's very powerful. But because you've hidden it a little bit, people treat you as if you're stoic, not realizing that you're just this sort of big mush, this big, innocent, beautiful mush within. And this has been quite tough on you in one way or another. And for some of you who have been quite open about the innocent part of it, some people have sort of misrepresented or really dumbed down your power. They've equated your innocence with sort of not being fully there, or not being fully with it, or heaven forbid, you know, not being as smart as them, right? Because if you were smarter, then you wouldn't have this energy in and around you, or whatever it is that they were doing. So there was this energy of projection, of being looked down upon. And if you've had that quite a lot, it's been quite difficult for you to have that strength to be able to really shine, and really to be able to speak your truth. And also for some of you who have had the stoic aspect and really have hidden this part of them because it was so deep and so vulnerable and so beautiful, it became almost impossible to be able to show that kind of innocence without feeling as though something within was breaking down and breaking apart. And that was quite painful for you. So to different degrees, each and every one of you has hidden your truth, or not spoken your truth in quite the way that you could have, that really showed your power, right? The other thing that you did too is that when other people came into the room that you sensed were more powerful, we want to go into this in a minute, you sort of dumbed down your power because you always sensed that you would be a threat to other people. And the thing is that people who are very powerful are actually not threatened by other people's power. They bring it on. They love it. Let's have a conversation. Let's do this. So the people that were in and around you were never more powerful than you. They just weren't. But their egos were firmly intact one way or another. But you dumbed yourself down because you didn't want to deal with the fallout of it. And that's another way that you really pulled back your energy. This was another way that you didn't really show up for yourself in this way, and you didn't offer the world to the full degree. And another way is a lot of people would tell you to sort of calm it down, or you're too much. That happens a lot. You're too intense. That's not for everybody. That's only for a small group of you. It's mainly the way powerful people treated you. But again, that wasn't really real power, and you didn't mistake it for real power. It's not that you thought that they were wonderful, they were real power. This was just a way for you not to have to deal with the fallout of this energy. You were very conscious about how the ego works in yourself and other people. And something that you came in with, you can really tell. Sometimes the ego gets really sort of designated into a very specific spot, and it becomes kind of unrootable, right? My way or the highway. This is something you can tell in somebody else. And everybody has the right to be any way that they want, but we're talking about you and your energy. So, and there's ways that you try to practically have this sort of spiritual and practical life where, you worked in a certain way, but it never really fully brought you to the heights of who you are. Now, this can all change in 2022 because, first of all, you're tired and you're done. You're done. And you've realized that all of those people that treated you a certain way never had any of that power anyway. You've always known, but now you're really acknowledging it. It's almost like you're going back and you're absolutely acknowledging every time that you've given away your power, not in this, oh, woe is me, in this victim mindset. Far from. You're over the victim stuff. The victim mentality for a while is really important because, we call it a label, but people really have been treated that way. And, you can't tell somebody to, get over it. That's just incomplete. That's rude. It's also quite dangerous. So you use the victim energy. You used that properly. And some of you actually didn't use the victim energy at all. And you sort of skipped it. And you had to go back and really work through, because a lot of you have been through a lot of different stuff in order to be able to heal. So this is something that you've moved beyond, and you're ready to claim it, and you're ready to claim this sort of new level of healing and to step up in this new way, which is really incredible. You're going to offer what you offer with the innocence and all, and saying, this is my vulnerability, this is who I am, and I'm not going to dumb myself down for anyone else. Again, sort of the same kind of essence with pile 2, but very different energy. This is about really claiming your energy from what you believed, from vulnerability, from this innocence, from what you believed was not powerful, to what actually is powerful. And we'll tell you why it's powerful in this lifetime, pile 3. It's because, as we're seeing these systems crumble, and we're seeing all of these programs come to a head, and we're being able to see these programs play out, because they're playing out everywhere. Because they're right there in front of us. And we can actually see that we've been programmed not to be vulnerable. We've been programmed not to be innocent. We've been programmed to see that as some kind of sort of liability, even weakness that could cause some harm. If it slows you down, you're the weakest one in the pack. And it was all designed to not have you get back into your own way of thinking, for you not to really be in touch with that humanity. So it was easier for rules and regulations to take over, for you to go, oh, F you, or I'm going to do this regardless of the outcome for somebody else. It was easy to sort of pull back on that humanity. But you never did. You've come here for humanity. You've come here. You feel it. You see it. It's been integrated into your soul. That's all you see. So it's almost like you didn't get that programming. You didn't get that, dumb down the humanitarian sort of thing, the humanity thing. I'm here for the collective. I'm here for everyone. Of course you're here for yourself too. But that doesn't mean anything if community's not in there, right? So there's no narcissism there. There's no, there's a lot of narcissism, or there has been. All of that's coming up to the forefront too, narcissism. This energy of me. And we've been trained to do this. This is all part of all of this programming. So this is all falling away. This is not part of the programming that you ever had come in. But you did have to work in a world that was largely programmed in this way, and that was really debilitating for you in one way or another. So we're sending you so much love, because it was not easy for you. And the last 2 years have been really interesting for you, because as everything's been breaking down, it's been heartbreaking in some ways, and in some ways it's been anxiety ridden, but in some ways it's been extremely empowering in a way that it's personally empowering, in a way that other people are handling it differently. And that's because you were coming at it from a humanitarian sort of point of view. So this is an interesting time for you to step up and to offer what you can in this lifetime in an absolutely brand new way, in a way that the world is ready to see now, because all these programmings are falling away. Now, this is a free will zone, so a lot of people are still working within these programs, but these programs on a collective level have come up, and they're being shown everywhere, right? So it's still not working the same way that we are doing it. It may seem like we're still going in a loop, and it's still like the old programming coming up, and people are still working the same program, but it is different. It's coming up for review. Everybody's just working with it differently. So you stepping up in this energy is different. You stepping up in this beautiful energy is warranted, is needed, and will display the kind of energy that we need. It will be integrated, absolutely. It's almost like your next level of what we need to go through. Some people are still in the crumbling process and sort of going down with the crumbling, and that's part of it too. That can be a very powerful way of being in your own energy and working through that on a collective level. But again, you have this in common with Pal 2, but very different energy. You are doing this on a sort of an individual level. So coming back to your power in a very specific way. Yeah, the 5 of Cups, it's been tough for you in some ways, because you felt very alone. You felt, and there are aspects of yourself that you felt like you needed to sort of hide for survival in some ways. And there were times when you peeked out and you let some stuff out, and you were a little bit vulnerable, and people may have used it against you, or, they weren't evil, they weren't bad people, they were just, we've all been programmed. They were doing the best they could, but maybe they used that energy against you, or you didn't feel safe after you sort of let out that innocence, or let out that sort of private part of yourself. And this is all shifted. This is all in your past. But this is energy that's made you stronger. This is energy that you've integrated and come to full terms with. So that's why it's coming up. It's sort of your foundation to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. Now, the people that are in and around you are not going to do that anymore, because you're not bringing in that energy of lack. You're not bringing in that energy of dumbing yourself down for people who are apparently powerful. And again, your version of power has really shifted and really changed. There was a part of you that did believe that people who got ahead, who did this, were powerful, and even though you didn't agree with how they did it, and you would never do it that way, it was sort of a very sort of confusing, sort of conflicting way to be in the world. But, yet they had this and they did that, and that's where you wanted to be. But you never wanted to succumb to that kind of energy to do that. So you didn't do it that way. But again, the programming in society sort of pushed us in that direction. So now everything's crumbling down. It's almost like the scene of you walking through sort of this post-apocalyptic kind of energy, where you're just able to sort of walk through the rubble and then just be who you are. There's no way to fight anymore. You didn't even have to fight. You just let everything sort of like crumble. And this was an important aspect. So there was an element of divine timing into you coming into your power. And then really realizing that everything that you went through, you never shifted that beautiful energy of innocence. Yes, you hid it. Some of you hit it real deep, and you had to, but you never lost it. It was always there, and you never compromised it either. You never did. There's a purity of heart in you that was never compromised. Again, you may have hid it and secluded it, and that's something that you needed to do out of survival, and we commend you for that. But you never compromised it. There were so many people that compromised that in this lifetime. And again, no disrespect, we're all, trauma, everything, the programming that we've been through, your heart goes out to them, my heart goes out to them. But at the same time, they've been compromised. They did that, but you didn't do that. And this is you about really understanding the power that you have of not compromising that, and really negating everything that's happened before, and really seeing it in this beautiful light of, all right, this is real power. What I have is real power. You know, it wasn't seen as real power in the world, but now I'm going to make it be seen as real power in the world. And you're going to stand for that energy, and it's exactly what the world needs. Let's see what we have here. You've got the Six of Wands coming on, the Ace of Swords. Absolutely beautiful. Now, you know, you might want to check out Pile 2. You might want to. See, again, very different. It's not going to be for all of you. Because this is very, very different energy. But the reason why I'm saying it is because the Six of Wands came up in Pile 2. So there is a crossover a little bit. And you've got the Swords energy here. Yeah, standing in your truth, standing in your honesty, standing in this is who I am. Sort of the new normal. Right? The new normal is you. This beautiful vulnerability, this gorgeousness of power, and really, really the essence of magic and divine feminine coming in at its best. That's not that the divine masculine isn't there. It's rooted, grounded into the divine feminine, rising up the divine feminine. But this is like this beautiful energy that cannot be corrupted, that cannot be swayed in any way. This is you. And you were the one that had the strength all along. You know, you were the one that had the emotional intelligence all along. You were the one that had the emotionality and the beauty all along. And it, you know, breaks our heart that you didn't realize that when other people were telling you other things. And again, they may not have had an agenda. We're all going through deprogramming. We're all going through all these things that we've been through, and how it is that we've compromised our energy and what we put up with and what we haven't, you know. And everybody's reacting from that, from different spaces, and they're all warranted. It's all needed, no matter how people are stepping up into that energy. So this is you, this energy of this power of this new moon with Capricorn, this really earthy energy moving forward of shifting everything in and around you. And once you shift this energy, everything that it touches, and this happened in Pile 1 too, everything that it touches, every area of your life, from love to work to success, whatever it is, it's all going to shift. But this is all about your energy of your own truth and bringing that front and center and not compromising anymore. And this is the energy, again, that's really needed, that's in and around you. And this is the energy that needs to be celebrated. Now, for some of you, you may actually have been having like a little, you know, maybe just a few of you may actually been having a little bit of a sore throat or a small inkling of that. That could be also the clearing out of your throat chakra as you move forward. The throat chakra and the third eye is really going to be activated at the beginning of 2022 and really going to solidify this momentous movement for you. It's going to be huge. You're going to be moving forward and really not settling for anything. This is all going to be very, very different for you, the way in which you see things. And this is all at the core root of how you perceive power within yourself and in the world. And what energy you give to power. You know, you're going to, you know, how you give your energy away, where you put your power, how you perceive it, and what attention you give other people's power. So that has shifted for you. It's always been there. It's you've always sort of, it's just you articulating it and really bringing it into the foreground and then bringing it to the forefront and saying, I'm not going to give my energy to that version of power anymore. That's not power to me anymore. It's just not power. I'm not going to give you any energy. I'm not doing this anymore. You're bringing all that energy back to you, and you're putting your sense of power, your sense of truth, your sense of beauty, and your sense of celebration of this too. And there are others out there like you doing the same thing. And this is a catalyst for moving forward and solidifying sort of the path of 2022 for you on a very individual basis, but also on the collective, because others like you are doing the same thing at the beginning of 2022. 2022, if we want to, is the year of magic. If we want to, it's the year of humanity. It's the year of freedom, real freedom, you know, not having to fight for it, real freedom on an individual and a collective level. This is the way forward. This is a new way forward for 2022. Everything came up in 2020 and 2021, and everything started crumbling. But everything came up, and people are still moving in that collective energy. Again, that's totally fine. But this is where everybody gets to break off and go off in their different directions if they want to, and break off from the collective and saying, this is what I'm doing. And this is what you're doing. You weren't really part of the collective anyway, but this is what you're doing in 2022. And this is an important time for you with this new moon to really bring in that energy and this new sort of vivum, come in with this energy of celebration. You're here. It's almost like I've arrived and I'm doing it on this terms. Really work with your universe with this expansive energy, and it will shift every level of your life. Again, as we said in pile 1, really wouldn't concentrate on the specifics of of each individual part. Just really concentrate on this power. I have the power. It is real. It is real to me. This is what true power is to me. Everything else isn't true power to me. I'm not going to give it any more energy. And watch your life transform in this beautiful new moon coming in. And again, set the precedence for the rest of 2022. So this is what we have for you, pile 3. Incredible movement forward. We're sending you so much love and energy for exactly who you are and where you are in the world. Now, do not forget, if you have not checked out which doorway brings you great success in 2022, that reading before this one, I will link it down below. You may be able to get some more energy in and around that reading too, if you have not checked it out. And of course, if you have not subscribed, we would absolutely love to have you. There is so much coming up in Unicorn Light Tarot in the beginning of this year. New website coming up, new courses, so we want you to be part of that. And of course, the podcast is, the Unicorn Light podcast is coming up in January too. We're restarting that, so good stuff. Not to mention 2 of these beautiful readings a week to really solidify and help you through and just support you as we move forward in this great awakening, this great beautiful earth, whatever it is that we're doing right now on an individual and a collective level. So don't forget to hit that bell icon so you never miss a reading, and of course hit that like button if you so desire. We again sending you everything that you need. Big virtual hug. Go be you. Until we meet again, pile 3. Take care. Bye-bye.